Hi everyone, Craig here. So yes, I'm sitting in my van. I got the kids dropped off at school, and I wanted to do a video on something that is really important and something I've talked about in the past, but I have to keep talking about it. And this is specifically for people in Wisconsin, parents of teenage Wisconsin drivers. Please watch this video because it could make a huge difference in your life and your children's lives. So under Wisconsin law, at least now, this is October of 2024, Wisconsin has a parental sponsorship statute. And what that means is when your teenage driver, usually around 16, 17 years old, gets their license, until they turn 18, they're on a, what's the term? It's a conditional license, I guess is the way I would say it. And in order to get your license before you're 18 in Wisconsin, a parent or a sponsor actually has to sign something saying, I'm taking responsibility for this person. And what it does under the law is if that child gets involved in a crash, whether they're driving your vehicle or not, but they have a license and they get involved in a crash, you as the parent that signed it and your other, your spouse or their child's other parent usually is automatically legally liable for them up to $300,000. Okay? $300,000 used to be, until I would say 10 years ago, there was no limit on that. But you're strictly liable for your son or daughter's driving until they hit 18 if you are their license sponsor. So that's really, really important that you know what your insurance is and how much you have, because there's a lot of people who don't have enough insurance. And to give you a really good example, let's say you have an insurance policy that is $150,000/$300,000. And that typically means per person per occurrence. A lot of people wrongly, and I think even insurance agents wrongly, think that if my child is involved in an accident, I'm going to have that $300,000 in coverage. In fact, you probably only have $150,000 in coverage, which means that under the statute, you still have personal liability for an extra $150,000. And a lot of people, when you don't have kids or before your kids are old enough to drive, you may have, let's say, $100,000 liability policy, or $150,000, or even $250,000. It suits you fine. You and your spouse are good drivers, and then you add a teenage driver to the policy, and you call your insurance agent. They add them. Yeah, everything stays the same. Well, they're not taking into account, in my experience, the fact that the sponsorship liability statute is going to come in play, and they should be, in my opinion, Wisconsin insurance agents should be asking every one of their customers who has teenage drivers if they want to increase the liability limit to $300,000 per person, because I've had multiple clients who have been in the situation where they only had 100,000 limits or 150,000 limits, and their son or daughter got involved in a bad crash, and they were left personally on the hook for some of that, and have had to write a check out of their own personal account to get that resolved. Just this week, I had a client, they wrote a check out of their own personal account for $150,000. This was on top of the $150,000 that the insurance company paid to satisfy a very badly injured person that was a passenger in a vehicle driven by their teenage driver who had just gotten their license. That should not happen. That should not happen if your insurance agent knows what they're talking about, and if people are just basically educated. So what am I telling you to do? Please look at your insurance policy. If you are a Wisconsin parent and you have teenage drivers on your in your house on your policy, look at your policy, and you want to look at the first number. So liability limits is usually one number followed by a second number. Sometimes they're the same thing. The first number is the one that you care about. Is it 100,000? Is it 150,000? Is it 200,000? That first number is the number that matters the most, because if that number is not 300,000, or you don't have an umbrella or something, you may very well find yourself in a situation where you don't have enough insurance, and now they're looking at you personally as the parents, your property, your income to make up the difference. And you don't want that to happen. Far easier and cheaper to get additional insurance. But don't rely on your insurance agent to tell you that. I'm surprised at how many insurance agents aren't even aware of this. So this message is for insurance agents too. Please talk to your clients, your customers, especially those with parent drivers. And when you have someone who is adding a new driver for the first time, make sure that they have 300,000 insurance, or you make it clear to them that they should have it, and then it's up to them. But please don't let that happen to you. The extra insurance is minimal in cost, even when you're adding a teenage driver, and it could save you from that situation. It keeps happening. I keep representing people in that predicament, and I don't want to see it happen again. So please share this with your family and friends, your insurance agent, your customers. Let them know that in Wisconsin, if you're a parent of a teenage driver, you need to make sure that you have enough insurance to cover that in the sad event that your son or daughter is involved in a crash. So anyway, I appreciate everyone listening to this video. If you have questions about that, please reach out to me, leave a comment below, or send me a message. That information's in the description. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching. And until next time, everyone, have a good one.